How do you back up your data? If you lose one hard drive, you lose, in the worst case, you lose 2 weeks of work, right? So that's the problem. So I learned it also the hard way when some hard drives of me died, and so I changed that. So I do it it's just an automatic software that does it automatically every day. How much data do you produce when you shoot per month? For me, it's around 2 terabytes but just per month, and then this multiple times for the backups. So, but it's just getting more and more, and it's hard to keep track of actually how to do it and how to keep it efficiently, I think. And a lot of people neglect that a lot, especially now with cameras that have higher and higher bitrate. When saving footage, I personally never save the footage on the shoot while shooting, because I know a lot of people who, like beginners, have like 1 or 2 SD or compact flash cards, and what do? They just shoot until it's full, and then they have to pause for an hour or so and just offload the stuff. And I would never do it because it takes so much time on the shoot, and also because it's very, very dangerous, simply. The cards are so cheap now, there's no reason not to have a ton of cards simply to be safe. And I think if you have like 5 to 6 16 gigabyte cards, you're safe for a 1 day's shoot. And I will really always do it afterwards. So it's important to have enough cards, and it's important to have the right cards. So I think I always use very fast cards, and I recommend everybody to use the fastest cards you can get your hands on, and the ones which are still halfway, affordable. But even if your camera doesn't need this high bitrate, it still pays off to get the fast cards, because you can offload so much quicker, and it makes so much difference. Especially because it's important that you do an instant backup when downloading on the shoot. I mean, for example, after the shoot. For example, if you want to delete your cards, I personally take 2 small hard drives, like these small G-Track slim drives, plug them into the USB or USB 3, and offload to 2 drives at once with a special software that I'm going to show in a minute. So it's very important to have fast cards, even if your DSLR, for example, doesn't need them, but it will make a difference for offloading. But it's always important to get the fastest reader you can have for your computer. So if you have a MacBook with a FireWire 800 and USB 3, I recommend getting the FireWire 800, because it makes such a big difference when you're offloading the stuff. I have software running automatic backups at least daily. And there are different solutions. For example, Apple Time Machine, which is obviously the easiest one, and everybody has it because it's built in. But you cannot really configure it. That's the problem. You don't have much of an influence what it really does, except for telling it what not to back up. There's Super Duper, and there is Carbon Copy Clone, and all 3 of these are especially great if you want to back up an entire drive, because it's very easy, even bootable drives. I have tried Time Machine Editor, which means you can at least configure Time Machine and tell it, for example, to only back up at certain times, because otherwise it does it all the time. But I personally use Synchronous X Pro. It's not very famous, it's a small company that makes this, but it gives you some kind of peace of mind. You can configure everything, and it also shows you what it's copying before it does it. If you do it manually, you get this view and you see how many files it's going to put onto the other drive, and if any of these files are already there, it will tell you, okay, I'm not going to copy this, but I will copy this one because it's a new version, and I will keep the old one in an archive folder. So stuff like actually the same that Time Machine is doing, but it's very visual, so it gives you some kind of assurance of what it's doing. And drive storage, it's recommendable to keep drives in different places. So I always take home 1 copy from the office of all my footage or all the data I have, just on an extra 3.5-inch drive. Take it home with you, even if your office is burning to the ground, you still have the data.